And welcome to Phuket in Focus. This is our weekly look at issues around the island, and we've got two great guests this week. From Live 89.5, the breakfast announcer, Dave O'Connor, welcome.
Thank you so much, Tim.
Sure. And also we've got Natasha Herold, an ex-breakfast announcer on Live 89.5, now freelance journalist. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to be talking about all sorts of issues around the island. We're going to be doing that right after this break. Ban Yamu Residences, located on the east coast in the Cape Yamu area. For those who seek tranquility, peaceful, stunning views and convenience, go to banyamu.com. And this is Phuket in Focus. All right, team, let's get stuck into it. Who are the people who are coming to Phuket at the moment? Where are they coming from?
Probably the airport initially. But after that, no, I'm joking. I think I see a lot of Russian tourists seems to be the big thing.
We should say that you are very fresh on the island. This is your first, month here?
Yeah.
So you've sort of already got a fresh perspective. So, yeah, what are you seeing?
I see a lot of Russian people, and I think that's probably down to the fact that there's a lot of Russian people actually living here. So I think they're almost like an advertisement back home, probably telling people to come over and telling them how great a place that it is to live and to work. And I'd imagine that a lot of the tourism is people coming to visit friends and family that already live here. So
better than Siberia, I figure.
Well, I think at the moment in Siberia it's minus 36 degrees. Over the weekend I met a guy from Russia and he took out his phone and showed me his weather app as to what the temperature was back home in Siberia, and it was minus 36. So yeah, it's about a 70-degree change for them coming over here. So I don't know how they don't melt.
Well, you've been in and out of the island a few times. I mean, over 3 or 4 years? How have you seen things change?
I've definitely noticed an influx of Chinese tourists, especially over the last year. And I think that's not so much a reflection on Thailand as it is a reflection of the changing perspective of the Chinese government.
Interesting point. It used to be that a lot of Europeans would come here, and then there were the Australians that sort of keep on coming here, even some Americans. But recently the whole mix of tourism coming to the island has changed, and I'm wondering, it's okay for us, we can sort of go with the flow because we're just guests here as well. But how do the Thais take it? What language are they going to learn? If you're a Thai mum, what language are you going to tell your child to go and learn as a second language?
Well, English is always going to be universal, I think,
But not with the Russians.
Yeah, but most Russians know some level of English when they come over here, and I think as well I have a good perspective because 5 months before I actually moved here I came here as a tourist, and one of the reasons that was very attractive about coming here was that I didn't actually need to have a visa to come here, and I wonder, does that play a part for Russian people as well? I don't think they need a visa to get into the country either on holidays, so that probably makes it a lot more hassle-free as a destination. And even for me, coming from Western Europe, from Ireland, coming over here on holidays, I noticed that I didn't need any visa whatsoever. It was just plain sailing coming in, and I found it quite easy. And holidays are stressful enough to get here that when you don't need a visa, it just makes it that much easier.
What are they doing here while they're here? It used to be that people would go just down to the beach, or they'd go on tours, they'd go out to the islands, maybe do a bit of diving. You've been involved in a lot of the Muay Thai fighting camps here. I think there are a lot of Russians going to those.
Absolutely. There has been a shift in the focus on fighting for fitness, if you will have it. And yeah, a lot of Russians are coming now to the fighting camps. Anywhere on Soi Taid, we have anywhere between 700 and 800 guests a month filtrating in and out. But in terms of Chinese consumers, there's a lot of shopping going on. Yeah, they come here to spend.
Well, that's good for the Thais. What sort of things are they going to be buying? Where are they going? Are they going down to the cheap markets, or are they going to the department stores?
It's a lot of souvenir buying, but also luxury brand buying, because there is quite a high tax in China on luxury brands to kind of pull people away from that conspicuous consumerism, so they do leave the country to shop.
I'm glad you asked Natasha about luxury brands, because as you can see from what I wear, I know nothing about designer products whatsoever, Tim. So I think also as well, it's good to see there's integration. I know at the moment there's talking, I think it's on the 10th of January or just afterwards, there's a football match, a soccer match between Phuket FC and a team from Russia as well. So it's good to see that there is some kind of a higher level integration and works going on to try and bring the two communities together, because I do think a lot of the time, a lot of the Russian community in Phuket actually keep to themselves a little bit, and I think stuff like this is great to actually integrate them with the locals, and will encourage even more people to come over then as well.
Right, now I'm going to wave my magic wand, and I'm going to make you both governor for a day. So I'll start with you, Natasha. You're the governor, maybe the governoress, I'm not sure. You're the governor, and I'm giving you the opportunity to change anything on the island. What are you going to change?
Well, there are a lot of serious issues on the island, and I think as expats, we do come over here and say we need to change this, 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 and this. But I think a really important issue to focus on is integrating with the Thai culture. So if I was the governor, I would ask that everybody is required for a long-term stay to take some sort of a cultural integration course and actually get to know a little bit about the customs, about the language, maybe learn a few phrases, so that people coming over here for long-term stays are more willing and accepting of the local culture rather than always trying to change everything.
That's a fantastic answer. I always think when I hear and read stories of people being scammed, I think, well, silly you. There's so much knowledge on the internet. Yeah, of course there's going to be some local scams and some local traps that you fall into. So silly you. That's a good answer. Dave, what would you change?
Well, they do that in America, of course, if you're getting your green card as well. It's kind of the same idea. I think I would change how little education people have towards the use of roads. Something for me that I've always been passionate about. Back in Ireland, I was actually a road safety ambassador for the Road Safety Authority of Ireland, and when I come here as well, I just see so much on the roads that and there's so many unnecessary accidents that, for me, educating people, not going along and pressing a brake in the driving license centre and then giving them a license, I really feel like people should be made do lessons over here. I'm not saying, I know the economy, I know people don't have a lot of money, including us living here, but I do think there should be some level of even just 1 or 2 lessons before you can get your driver's license, just to give people a little bit more knowledge about the basics of road use, because since I've come here there's been so many fatal accidents, and it's something that every time I hear about them it kind of does actually break my heart, hearing that people die on the roads. It's something that's very close to my own heart, and I do think a little bit more should be done about it over here.
Two great answers there. I always think with the driving that it's not so much that the Thais are particularly bad drivers, but I think they just drive at a different rhythm. It's a bit sort of like a school of fish where you've just got to move along with the school. And if you drive defensively, like we're taught in the West, you're doomed to failure. You're going to have an accident. So I sometimes think it's another one of these integration issues. We sort of need to learn the local ways. It's not so much the Thais that are having the accidents, but the silly Farang who just don't quite know how to drive on the roads here. That's just my thought.
Or who are drinking and driving on the roads here because they're on holiday.
Very good point as well.
That's something, and since I've come over, I've been here 4.5 weeks, and since I've come over, that's something I've said to everyone. I refuse to drink drive here. I don't care if I'm in a country where it's harder to get caught or where you can pay your way out of it. I don't care about that, because back home you wouldn't do it, and you shouldn't do it here. And that, it does annoy me actually. You see a lot of Farang foreigners that come over here, especially on holidays, and they drink drive everywhere, and they just don't have respect for the rules of the road, and that's why you see so many of them actually dying on the roads when they're on holidays over here. It's not because Phuket is a dangerous place to come, and it's such a misconception. It's not a dangerous place to come. It's a dangerous place to not respect the local laws. That's what's dangerous about it.
Yeah. Right, now there has been a little bit of argy-bargy up in the capital and a little political infighting. Really none of our business, and it certainly hasn't affected Phuket a lot at the moment. But of course the press reports going around the world don't look good. There are fights in the street and there's a lot of flag waving, and there have been sadly a few deaths. Our friends are seeing this overseas, and they're calling me saying, well, gee, is it safe to come to Thailand? I'm booked. What are you going to tell your friends?
Well, I had a similar experience in Honduras when I lived there. There was the political coup at that time. So I always tell them it's just like anywhere else. You know, you have your areas that you do and you don't go. And of course, just because an area of Canada per se is affected doesn't mean another area of Canada is affected. It is still, you know, a fairly large country. So I just ask them to take it all with a grain of salt and maybe look at a little bit more unorthodox media reporting on the issues.
Yeah. How about you, Dave? What are you going to tell your friends in Ireland?
I just noticed people are so easily influenced by the media and what they say, and I see even, I think 10 flights from Singapore have been cancelled. I heard it on the news earlier on this week on the Phuket News, and I think I just tell them, you know, come along, as Natasha said, don't go near the areas where there's riots, because then you will get caught up in it. But there's still so much of Thailand to see and experience that is beautiful, and you never see it here. So people should not be turned off by riots, because they happen in every country, in all over the world, and people should still come and and don't cancel their holiday. Fair enough, if you're going to Bangkok, you need to be a little bit more aware of where you're going in Bangkok and where you're staying and where you're going to hang out and stuff. But Phuket is 100% fine.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I'd be telling my friends too. And I think the side benefit for Phuket is that people are cancelling maybe their plans to go to Bangkok, heading off to Chiang Mai or Phuket instead. Natasha, thank you very much. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And Dave O'Connor, thanks for joining us on the breakfast program at Live 89.5 and here on Phuket TV.
No worries, and this is why I should be kept on the radio.
And that's our very first Phuket in Focus. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back again with another Phuket in Focus next week.